If you feel like your life has been wasted, this is the video for you. Many advanced souls, they feel like their life has been wasted. They've gone on these long journeys, and in multiple aspects of their life, they've seen months and years pass them by, and people say to themselves, you know what, I feel like so much time has been wasted. And in this very powerful energy, as I started to film, an owl showed up. I've never seen an owl here before, so it's a very powerful message. And if you feel very strongly, and that's your intuition, that's your soul, and we have to change our internal frequency in order to continue forward in the world. So many people know that the world is changing drastically. So at a frequency level, so many things are going to have to change. Like Animal Planet tonight, must be a synchronicity. You might feel like you've wasted years at a job. You know, you did this work for so long, and you could say to yourself, how many years can I waste? And you know what? I like being interrupted by nature. You know, if it was a car, I'd get upset. If you say to yourself, you know, I wasted so much time. Well, I'm here to tell you, brother. I'm here to tell you, sister. That job, that whatever you're doing, it's not going to be here in the future. And God takes us out ahead of time, and you had to be there for a long time because you were observing and you were achieving skills that you're going to bring to this world as we move forward into the future. You might say to yourself, you know what, I'm alone, or you might say, I was in this terrible relationship for many years, and you feel like your time has been wasted. I did a very powerful video in this world right now, how many people, they feel alone in a modern society. And that's because you don't fit into society. You rather resonate with nature, right? You resonate with God, right? You rather have your peace. And, you know, for so many years, you know, you say, well, how did all this time get wasted? You know, how did these synchronicities of the universe just show up when I hit record? I don't know, but our friends are here today. Would you click a like button for the synchronicity? I appreciate that. And maybe you're resonating with this message. So your time, and this is just the path, especially if you're a man, and I'm going to get to that. If I'm speaking to our divine masculine, our real men that are taking in this message and taking in our birds and our nature calls right now. I do appreciate it, but if we could just bring it down just a little bit, that would be great. Thank you. All right. I'm like the animal whisperer. He's like the bird whisperer. Shh, be quiet. Okay. So in our lives, you know, we have to have someone come into our life that's equally yoked. God wants you to have equally yoked in your life. And what we see in the modern world is that there are many people, they get into these fake relationships, and the best thing to do is measure twice and cut once. Okay, so you say to yourself, you know what, I feel alone. I feel like my time is wasted. The years are going by. But when you take this message in its entirety, this is the actual path, because you had the fake matrix path, right? Of a different lifespan, of different modern society rules. Do you not resonate with modern society rules? Do you think for yourself? Are you a woman that could think for herself? You're here. Are you a man that could think for himself? You're here. So when you feel like your time has been wasted, you know, there was a reason for this, because it's the internal shifts that have to happen. You know, if you are a man, you know, Carl Jung said that a true man's life starts at 40. And this is how we're supposed to live our life. But in the world that is now leaving, you know, people over time, they may be aged, they maybe had ailments, right? But when you ascend, when you go through the changes, when nature is calling, here we go. All right, when nature is calling, when you change right? This is how you were supposed to live. A man's life doesn't start till you're 40, bro. If I'm talking to our divine masculine, there might be the beta male, he's scrolling on Instagram, all these other things. But in our life, if you are true leadership and real divine feminine, they want that man that has built the home, and then the rib could come right in. So if you feel like your life has been wasted, your life actually starts as 40, and as Carl Jung said, everything before that is practice. And you're just learning. And on our journey, there is no finish line. And these are for the men, the women that are on the ascension journey. These are the messages for the highly advanced souls. This is not for the modern woman. This is not for the beta male. People that are resonating with this message, you are a highly advanced soul, you're an empath, you're taking the true spiritual journey where there is no shortcuts, because in every aspect of your life, your internal frequency has to shift. So once you've achieved all this, if you're a guy, she might have had to be prepared, right? To be ready to handle a divine masculine, all right? If you're the divine feminine, right? He might be out there, learning the skill. Right? And the problem in the modern world, people just going on, they're swiping on the apps, right? They're looking for the arm candy in the gym. It's all nonsense, right? And you should be in the gym because it's about our health and wellness. And you might say to yourself, and this is a very important part of the message, maybe your health has been wasted. You're making advancements and then you go backwards, right? Are you listening in? You say, yeah, I was doing better. And then, I went backwards. And this is because the physical body has to be prepared for ascension. Over the course of our journey, we develop traumas, densities in the body, especially in the solar plexus, in the midsection. And that's why I teach a lot of men, it's not just about abs, but it's so important to have a healthy midsection that is going to really advance your life. And this is how we move towards that 200, 300 year lifespan. And when we start to see this all play out, and we're seeing a shift in society where people are going more towards nature, right? Where'd they go? I think they went away. Right? We're going more towards nature now. We're going more towards authenticity. But people were eating foods that weren't authentic, in relationships that were transactional. They were not unconditional love. So in order for unconditional love relationship, it's going to take a lot of time to have equally yoked. Millions of girls, bro, but one of one, right? And the divine feminine hears that and it resonates. And, maybe the modern woman, she don't understand that, No, it's one of one. And a divine masculine knows through the energy. The divine feminine, if she is broken free, you had to detox yourself, right? So maybe you're working on this because you saw the mainstream TV, you saw the social media, you had the hyena cliques in the school building, right? In the workplace, and you had to break free. You had to be a very powerful lioness to go through this change. So our bodies have to purge these things. So, I'm always working out, I'm always improving my health and wellness. And then every once in a while, I take a step back and I feel these ascension symptoms, and I might have to go into fasting, and I might have to lose a little bit of weight while I'm fasting, because this is the authentic process. So you say, I just want to, feel like myself again. But when we go through these processes, right, we have to remember that the eagle, if it wants to change and evolve, it has to fly up to the top of the mountain and break its beak off and regrow a brand new beak, rip the talons off and grow new talons and come back better than before. So this is a process that a lot of people don't want to go through. And this is how we are reverse aging. Aging is not a thing, okay? It's just all part of what the mainstream taught you. And the trials and tribulations, and that's really a story Uncle Mike wants to share with the community. Working out was always part of my journey. And in 2020, I had no gym. All the gyms were closed. And, it just was part of my life. And this concept forced me to do different things that are now later in life. I was influenced by them, testing them out, And now, right, so when you go to the gym and you just lift weights, but then I had to go to the park, I had to do pull-ups, I had to get the old school bike and pump the quads. I got the old one, right? So you're really hitting the quads because there was no leg press. I had to start doing other things besides just lifting weights. And then I started learning these new movements, maybe use the kettlebell or so on and so forth. So for a period of time, you say, oh man, I'm getting a setback and I can't lift the heavy weights right now, right? Because all the gyms were closed. But what it taught me is I could go out in the world and you learn all these new things. And I'm here to tell you, it's always a mindset because, brothers, there are brothers that I had in the gym and I saw them for many years. And then when it opened up, I never saw them again. It is very easy to lose the trajectory that you're on. A lot of this is psychological. You know, it's the law of 80-20. When you go out there, you're going to see 20% of the world is very motivated. It's a frequency. It's the embodiment. And 80% are just the pretenders, kid. So you might go through these things and you're making gains, and I go through this as well and say, oh, now I'm losing weight. Now I got to go through this. Now I have these ascension symptoms. Then I had the situation with the gym. But now in the future, this is why I talk about quantum events on this channel. If an event happens, you don't understand the magnitude of that event until later in your life. So when I had these intense symptoms, like right now, going through this massive energy that we're going through, I learned about fasting, where years ago I didn't want to hear about fasting. And intermittent fasting has become a part of my life, you know, doing detox cleanses, and I didn't want to hear about it years ago. So sometimes we're given a task and we feel like our time is being wasted. We're going backwards. But we actually have to take a time out to learn a new skill, to learn something that we're going to bring to our everyday life moving forward, because the world is about to change and it will never be the same again. You know, if there's a person that's listening to this, I could just ask the question, how can you continue living that fake modern life and all these changes? You know, and it's going to be taxing to your nervous system. It's just been part of my life. You know, it's just speaking about being alone. My friend and I, you know, we were doing the hikes when 2020 was, everything was closed. Even today, I walk the beach. You know, doing regular activities in nature, so important. But people were losing their minds. Can't go to the club. Can't drink Al Ghul at the club anymore. So if you're getting this message and you're tuned in this far, right, you're a highly advanced soul. And all that stuff is gone. But the trajectory of your life, which is the timeline that you're on, this trajectory, now your life has expanded, just like the eagle expanded the life. Because you went through all these things, and it feels like our time is being wasted because we want to keep moving forward in life. But our life, we are keep moving forward, but we're going like this on the trajectory, ever onward, ever onward. So if you do feel like you do make progress in a part of your life, I know a lot of people feel like they're alone, and you say, you know, how many years can I spend alone without a relationship? You know, and it's something that many people that are tuned into this is part of the process, because if you're going to have an authentic, it's called unconditional love relationship, not transactional garbage relationship, you have to have equally yoked. And as a man, you want to choose the woman for you, and not just settle because you're not being authentic to that person that you settled for. So you know you're equally yoked, you know, and you will know through frequency. And there is a lot of chaos in the world. And you have to keep moving forward, and you have to come to terms, because I know a lot of guys and gals that lost so much. They lost so much because they went into the relationship with the covert narcissist. Do you know about this, right? So sometimes in life, and that's so I apply gratitude. I'm so grateful to God for the protection. If you never saw my video, Creating Boundaries with the Universe, Boundaries with God, and you say, I'm not going to allow this in my life anymore. Okay. And then those narcissists never come in anymore. It's a real thing. But you have to deal with the time period of being alone, and you feel like your life is being wasted. But while your life, you know, you're going to be going on past 2030 and beyond. Are you going past 2030 and beyond? Let me know. And some people aren't. Some people's nervous system can't handle all the changes. So God has set us aside. and you say, wow, all my time is wasted, but it's not wasted, because we're in a quantum reality. And in this reality, in this life, our life or trajectory was not supposed to be, this is it. You thought it was. You know, every aspect of my life. I went to the university, and I took theology courses. I went to a Catholic university, St. John's University, and I took theology courses. And at the time, you know, you said, oh, you got to get, you know, business to modern life garbage, right? But later in life, you have to understand, brothers, just do it. If something is coming into you, say, well, why do I got it? You got to do it sometimes, and you will feel it through resonance. And going through them, you know, it was just something that was so, you know, if something is for you, like if you're listening to this message, right? Some people could listen to every second of the message, right? So that's your soul giving you the frequency. It's a resonance. And you don't want to have equally yoked. You don't want to have unequally yoked the job. This job is not for me, but I'm making all this money, but it's not for your soul. This female covert narcissist isn't for me. She looks a certain way and presents a certain way, but her soul really ain't there. She ain't for you. That's the beta male, divine feminine. And if you choose that male, well, your nervous system is never going to be calm. All of the couples, the very strong couples that I know over the years, they all follow this. And I mean, just look at the world and how many failed relationships, and everything is a loop in life according to the frequency. In order to not have this loop, in order to break free of the same type of job, same type of relationship, same type of level of health, there has to be a deep frequency shift, an internal shift. And once the internal has shifted, then the outer world changes. And in order to do that, you might feel like your life has been wasted. And you know, I have this feeling as well. A lot of people like this channel because I speak about this journey from a place of authenticity with real life evidence. And you know, even speaking to some of my brothers, we text, we're all over the place. And it's all the same thing. It's like I can't. It's like so much life has been wasted. So much life has been wasted. But then you have to look at it. If you went down any of those other paths, you would have went down that path too far with that job, and then you're stuck. You might have went down that path too far with that broad. You didn't have the divine feminine, right? You got to wake up to these things, bro. You got to understand it. You got to be grateful, right? You didn't waste your life or your time with health. You know, because the truthful journey, right, we have to detox our body because there are all these densities, the traumas, the toxins, and we store negative thoughts in the cellular memory of our body. And that's why we go through this process. It's called autophagy. You click subscribe. I teach you health and wellness on this channel, what I do, and then it's free will. You know, you're going to go out there in the world and all the gurus, you must eat this way to be spiritual. Nah, they're full of crap, bro. They're full of crap, sis. And some of our Facebook community posts about, you know, leaving those, you know, certain groups because there's a lot of gaslighting and rudeness. So this is a channel, this is a video for those that are awakening. Let's be authentic. Let's make our own decisions. And the main idea is think for yourself. So I know a lot of people are feeling this. I'm so grateful. Hit the like button, click subscribe if this content resonates with you. We do daily videos 9 a.m. Eastern time to help you become the greatest version of yourself. Comment down below any of the points that I made. Does it resonate with you? Do you honestly have that feeling like, oh, I feel like my life has been wasted? But there is a purpose to all of this. I love each and every one of you. I am the defender of our everyday lives. No matter what comes your way, light warriors, just keep going. I love you.